Good morning, everybody from India. Welcome to today's webinar, which is on authenticity matters protecting FMCG and nutraceuticals from counterfeits. I'm Alvin Samuel, and I'm delighted to be your moderator for this crucial and timely discussion. This webinar is organized by Texai Research in collaboration with Authentication Solution Providers Association, popularly known as ASPA. Texai Research is a global market research and consulting company offering actionable insights to help businesses achieve sustainable growth. In an era where the integrity of nutraceuticals and FMCG products is more critical than ever, the issue of counterfeiting poses a significant threat to public safety and trust. Counterfeit products not only undermine the efforts of healthcare professionals but also endanger the lives of countless people globally. Today, we are privileged to have an esteemed panel of experts who will share their insights, experiences, and innovative strategies to combat this growing menace. Our speakers will delve into the current landscape of FMCG and nutraceuticals counterfeiting, explore advanced detection and prevention technologies, and discuss the collaborative efforts required across the supply chain to ensure the delivery of safe and authentic medications. But before we dive into our panel discussion, I would like to remind everybody that there'll be a question and answer session at the end of the webinar. So please feel free to submit your question through the chat function at any time, and we'll try to address as many questions as possible during the allocated time. So before we even start into the counterfeiting, just let me give us very small gist. Because since we are a market research company, and we consider healthcare as one of the domains as where we have got a lot of credibility. Texai Research has estimated the size of Indian nutraceutical market, uh, and according to Texai Research, the market stood at 6.12 billion in 2023 and is anticipated to project a very impressive growth in the forecast period with a CAGR of 11% through to 2030. Now, what we believe is the market is driven by rising incidence of chronic diseases and aging population, increasing preventive healthcare awareness, consumer preference for natural ingredients and traditional remedies, growth of preventive healthcare sector, increased intake of essential vitamins and minerals, consumer inclination towards additive-free products, personalized nutrition trends, uh, regulatory support and promotion of wellness, rising shift towards e-commerce and online retailing. However, factors such as high cost and affordability constraints significantly hamper the market growth. And that is where the concern of counterfeiting comes into picture. As the demand for dietary supplements continue to grow, the prevalence of counterfeit nutraceuticals grow as well. So what happens is the packaging of both the original and counterfeit products is often so similar that it is difficult for consumers to distinguish between the two. So what happens? Fake dietary supplements are made in unsanitary environments, may not contain ingredients which are good for the health. Additionally, they may contain hazardous chemicals, can have a detrimental effect on the consumer's health. Now, what happens is the reputation of supplement brands is severely damaged by counterfeiting, resulting in a loss of revenue and a loss of consumer trust, obviously. To safeguard their brand and protect the consumers from fraudulent customers, and dietary supplement manufacturers can utilize neurotags, reliable counterfeiting solutions. So, just this was just to give you a quick background of why this topic of this webinar is so important. So, without taking too much of time, I would like to welcome Mr. Punit Mehthani, Associate Director, Industrial Affairs at ASPA, to share some light on the theme ASPA leading the fight against counterfeiting and ensuring product authenticity. So, to give you a very quick gist, he's got more than 10 years of experience in marketing and corporate communication, project management, government affairs, government meetings, and business development. So, this diverse experience has equipped him with a comprehensive understanding of the industry. Previously, he also served as an assistant director at City. Over to you, Puneet.
Sure, sir. Thank you for the lovely introductions and thank you for TechSci Research for organizing this in collaboration with ASPA. So I'm here to give the presentations about ASPA, and we will be taking you through the slides of what ASPA is all about and what our collaboration efforts are going on, what awareness and research things we are doing to combat the counterfeits, and what the solutions our members are providing. So may I request, in case you can just means put my presentations over there. Okay. So the title of my presentation is ASPA leading the fight against counterfeiting and ensuring product authenticity. So I will be taking you through the introduction of what ASPA is doing and what are our key focus areas, our publications and research reports on which we are dedicatedly working. We have our one of the forum, means it's a flagship forum for ASPA, where we bring the brand owners, we bring the regulators. We also showcase some of the collaborations efforts which we are doing, means just to promote or create the awareness among the industry and the regulators. Some of the solutions which our members are providing, whether it's authentication or traceability solutions. And lastly, why to join ASPA. So if you can just change the slide. We are 25-year-old association now, and we started in 1998 with the name of OMI. In 2014, we realized that there are so many traceabilities players which can be added into our ASPA family. So we named it Authentication Solution Provider Association. We are growing. We recently updated our Middle East chapter, where we means invited Middle East security solutions providers to join the ASPA community. We have around eight different experts in the governing panels. Mr. Ranesh Bajaj is one of them from Vinsec. So he will be the chairperson for our Middle East chapter. He is the contact point over there. So uh, in case the next slide, change the slide, please. So as I mentioned that we want to be the voice of the global authentication and traceability solution industry. We have around 89 member companies who are into authentication and traceabilities. We work on the awareness, advocacy, research, and innovations. So change the slide, please. So on awareness front, we do lots of collaborations. We work on the conferences part. This is one of our webinar series which we are doing. We lastly did with TechSci Research a webinar on the pharmaceutical sector. This particular is on the FMCG sectors. We are sure that we will be coming up with any other sector specific webinars just to create the awareness. We have our own panel discussions. Recently we did a panel discussion on a food and FMCG sector, food and beverage sector, where we invited some of the brands from the liquor industry, from the agro industry, to be a part of the panelist. And they told us the challenges which brand, particularly brand, is facing, and what the industry is facing, and what solutions they are using, and what innovations required. So all these things were being discussed. We do lots of panel discussions, collaborations, events. We support some of the events as a supporting associations. We have I can say that in last 1 year we have collaborated with more than 15 events across the industries, whether it's packaging, food, agri, any particular sectors. We are trying our best to collaborate and just to create the awareness. We are doing our advocacy works as well. We are in touch with many of the sectoral ministries. We recently visited many of the Ministry of Food Processing Industries just to have some collaboration efforts. And we are in dialogue with them regarding doing a panel discussions during one of their upcoming activity for food industry. And for the we would like to means create awareness what the solutions are there. We already did some of the activities with the Ministry of Agriculture. They were there's the association name Irrigation Association of India. We work very closely with them. We are working with PhD chambers, health committee very closely. We are in touch with CII regarding a beauty and cosmetic sectors, what they are doing. So all such collaboration activities are going on in ASPA, and we are very actively participating and showcasing our efforts. So we also work on the research part. Recently, we did a report with CRISIL. It was a state of counterfeiting reports in India, where we showcase or where we covered around 6 sectors, industry sectors, and CRISIL did a survey of around 12 cities. So all the findings, what are the perceptions of harmness, what are the solutions available in the markets, how many people are buying the counterfeits products, what are the reason behind buying it. All these details being covered at that particular reports, and it's easily available in our websites. A person can download, means if someone want to download it, it's there on our website. We also did a innovations part, like I already mentioned, that we are in the touch with many of the organizers. We do lots of collaboration where we get to know about the various technologies into the markets, and we have around 89 members. So the list of the companies can be seen on our websites. Means all these links are given there. Just to keep it short, means I will take you through the slides. Uh, Means in a fast mode. So this is the report which I was mentioning, that we already have a state of counterfeiting reports in our website. So maybe later in the webinars we will get about more insights about the reports and what this particular reports was all about. We also work on the white papers. We have our own CNR activity. Means we gather the counterfeiting incidents in India, where we upload all such incidents in our websites. Let's say we are doing this particular activity from last I think more than 6-7 years. So in case you want to check, let's say in 2019, what were the pharmaceutical counterfeiting incidents in India, or let's say in UP, or in Delhi, you can filter it out. Means you can easily find the incidents. Accordingly, our members act, and we create a report out of it. Also, we have created in 2021. Next report will be coming out this year only. So moving to the next slide, please. So these are the publications which I already mentioned. Means we have a bi-monthly magazine name, or a capsule name, a 16-page capsule name, the Authentication Times. This is actually a sector-specific magazine. So this we bring out every bi-monthly, and we cover the industry insights, the solutions which our members are providing. Our members do advertise also in this. We circulate it to the industry associations, regulators, brand owners. The best part is that we are bringing out the 50th edition soon. Maybe this Authentication Times will be the 50th editions of our publication. So this will be launched soon this month. We also launch a supplier directory. Means in case you want to have a look at the details of the ASPA member solutions and what are the contact details. So it's there in our website. Let's say any of the brands want to have a look, any of the brand want to have the information, what are the solutions available in the market, what are the details of the ASPA members there. So it can be easily downloaded through our websites. All these details are on our websites, and it's a part of ASPA activity. Moving to the next slide, please. This is our flagship forums. Like I already mentioned, we already did 5 of the editions, and this is actually a traceability authentication forum, where we do it in every 18 months. We have around 35 different panel discussions, more than 35 speakers. When the brand owners participate there, regulators participate there. Lastly, there were some of the IS officers participated from Ministry of Chemicals, from drug regulators, from Ministry of Pharmaceuticals. So all these activities been going on. Soon we will be launching our upcoming edition of the Traceability and Authentication Forums. Next, please. And these are some of the brands. Means when I mentioned that this is the forum where ASPA is doing this activity. So these are some of the brands where they were present in the our forum, where we create some awareness, we create some collaboration activity, just to make them aware what are the solutions in the markets and what are the trends going on. Next, please. And these are some of the collaboration activities, like I already discussed. We are doing our webinar series. This is the second one with XI Research. Soon we will be bringing out our third one. Next, please. So, like I already mentioned, that we are participating at different forums. Our former president, Mr. Nakul, had participated in one of the a news channel panel discussion on pharmaceutical counterfeits. So we have already participated in many of the international forums. Like Mikal is here from IHMA. We participated there. We presented paper on the international forums about the holographic solutions available in the markets. Next, please. So this is all about our collaboration. Mr. Ankit Gupta had presented a panel in one of the PhD chamber pharmaceuticals activity, where we discussed about the medical devices, pharma, and healthcare supply chain summit. Next, please. So if we talk about the solutions which ASPA members provide, our members provide authentications and traceability solutions. So whether it's a physical or a digital, or let's say a mix of it. We also have a category of supplier, like someone from the flexible packaging, rigid packagings, labeling, security printers, machines providers. So they can also be a part of ASPA, other than a physical solution. Let's say security design, holograms, security inks, OVDs. If we talk about the digital solutions, so track and trace, blockchains, and the QR codes, RFID. So all these solutions are available in the ASPA memberships, and means in case you want to have a look of the details of the ASPA members, it's already on our websites. It's there on our supplier directory. And so, Chintan is please. So this is actually for if someone want to join ASPA. We are doing lots of activities as already showcased. Because the time constraint, I keep it means in a fast mode, because we are doing lots of activities. We can help you in the advocacy initiatives. We can help you in networking. So we provide benefits to our members. We work very closely with IHMA, its and many more other chambers. We have means if ASPA members can get registered to their OVDs in security image registrations. So all these activities are going on ASPA, and we would love to collaborate with any of the brand owners or any of the industry associations or industry chambers in coming days. So that's it from my presentations, and thank you so much for this opportunity, and looking forward to get in touch with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Puneet, for giving us a background of what ASPA is all about and what ASPA is doing. I'm sure a lot of people viewing this are going to be interested in getting themselves aligned with ASPA, just like Textile Research has been doing with you people. Uh, Without wasting too much of time, let me introduce you to one of the expert panelists, Mr. Mikhail Sidorov. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Mikhail is in 2009 joined Reconnaissance International as Business Development Manager to develop the company's activities in Eastern Europe and Southeast Asia. He then took on the role of Regional Director. In early 2020, he joined Remax, a leading supplier of holographic laminates and foils for secure documents, to work with security printers and governments on delivering holographic production for passports, identity cards, and other security documents. He rejoined Reconnaissance in late 2022 and is now International Hologram Manufacturers Association (IHMA) General Secretary. Mikhail, welcome, and it's nice to have you as part of this discussion. Uh, so my first question to to you would be, can you explain what the International Hologram Manufacturers Association is and its role in the industry?
Thank you, Alvin, for this introduction, and good morning, everyone. It's great to be here talking about what, as an industry, we have been doing to help prevent counterfeiting of consumer products and pharmaceuticals. The International Hologram Manufacturers Association is an industry association that was set up in 1993. We are at the moment just over 80 members, most of whom are manufacturers of security holograms. And we work together to first promote the use of holography and related technologies for the benefit of everyone, really. We also work together to maintain the highest professional standards, and we're essentially the voice of the industry. And of course, one of the things that we are involved in with users of holograms is preventing counterfeiting of various products using holograms and related technologies.
Okay. So tell me one thing, how influential are holograms in preventing counterfeiting? And what are the unique features that make them reliable for product authentication?
So holograms have become prominent about 3 decades ago when photocopiers were first came out and were used to photocopy secure documents or security features in secure products. First of all, holograms cannot be copied. And second, if we're talking about unique features, one of the most unique features of the holograms is probably the fact that they can integrate all three levels of protection. That is the first level, the public level, the second level, where you can quickly check authenticity of a product or a document using a small handheld device, and third level, forensic level, where you need specialized equipment to verify a product or a document. So holograms integrate all three levels of protection, and that is how they are unique. And holograms have been well known to prevent many cases of counterfeiting or allow users to verify that a product has been counterfeited.
Okay. Okay. So just wanted to understand, since you are from a different part of the world and very closely associated with the industry, what are the global trends that you've been observing in using holograms and other OVDs for anti-counterfeiting purposes, particularly in the FMCG and nutraceutical sectors?
That's a very good question. Thank you for the question. If I was to isolate, say, a major trend that we've been seeing over the last 10, 15 years, it would be the fact that holograms are now integrated with other technologies, such as track and trace, for example, if we're talking pharmaceuticals and consumer products. Holograms are also now integrated with other printed features. So what we are seeing and have been seeing is a shift from, if you like, using just holograms to protect pharmaceuticals or a consumer product, more towards using a combination of different technologies where where you can verify that a product is genuine. And track and trace has been probably more prominent over the last 10 years than any other technologies. But we can also mention printed technologies and also other optically variable technologies where holograms are now combined and used to verify the authenticity of a product.
Okay, cool. So, how are hologram technologies, basically integrated with, let's say, digital solutions like QR codes and blockchains to enhance product security?
As I've just mentioned, one of the most prominent technologies the holograms are now integrated with to verify the authenticity of a product is track and trace. And track and trace, as many of you know, is a technology that allows you to first verify where the product has come from, where it's originated, and also where it's been and where it's going and what it's intended for. We have been seeing a lot of this in tax stamps, and of course, a related sector is pharmaceuticals. So the same has been happening in pharmaceuticals, and companies are now more and more using track and trace to integrate this with holograms.
Okay. Um, can you explain to us what the IHMA security image register is all about?
The International Hologram Manufacturing Association Security Image Register is a secure register of holographic and other optically variable devices, images, designs. It was created almost from the outset when the association was set up to safeguard the copyright of optically variable devices and holograms, and also underpin their use in authentication and security documents. The register is managed by the Counterfeiting Intelligence Bureau, which is an anti-crime, anti-counterfeiting arm of the International Chamber of Commerce, based in London. So it's managed in strict confidence by them, and it helps manufacturers and users to first verify when an image was created, who created the image, and also verify its authenticity and prevent duplication of a particular image. The SAR has been known to help a number of organizations to prevent counterfeiting, but also identify counterfeit products.
Okay. So, Mikal, you just mentioned a while back that holography is not something that is just 1 or 2 years old. It's been there, but still a lot of counterfeiting happens also. Can you help let us know what are the latest innovations in holography that can improve the security of FMCG and nutraceutical products?
Thank you for the question. Of course, holography that's been used in product authentication for over three decades now has evolved. If in the past the so-called rainbow holograms were quite prominent, over the last 3 decades, and in particular the last 10 years or so, some of the leading manufacturers have advanced holography and have come up with some new features For example, some of the companies have learned to create non-rainbow colors in holograms using, of course, diffraction. So I'm talking pastel colors or black colors. Now that's quite a significant advancement. Yeah. We've been talking about this for the last 10 minutes. We've also been able to combine holograms with other technologies successfully, where we have, in a way, as well, advanced holography and the use of holograms. In other words, holography has developed over the last 30 years. Holograms have changed, and what's probably best to note about holograms is the fact that they've always been able to respond to the latest threats and also the customer demand. So yes, holograms have evolved. We've seen some of the new features the leading manufacturers have come up with, and also other technologies where holograms have been integrated with for product authentication.
Okay. Now, very important, as from a layman's perspective, I am a consumer. I go to a store and I see a lot of products. I want to buy some kind of multivitamins or some kind of supplements, or maybe even whey protein powder or something. Now, as a consumer, I may look at a hologram, I may look at the box. Now, how do I actually come to know that the product is not a counterfeit product?
That's a very good question. Education. The answer is education. Of course, holograms are great, other technologies are great, but unless we make people aware, unless we educate people about authentic products and how to verify them, you obviously wouldn't know what to look for. And that's why IHMA exists. That's why we have associations like ASPA and others that create awareness and educate people about product authenticity and the use of technologies like holograms and others, and what to look for to verify the product is genuine.
Okay. Okay. Great. Thank you so much for shedding so much of light into, what uh, can help and cannot help in terms of counterfeit products. Uh, we also have Mr. Raj Gilra, who is VP Marketing for Core Salt at Tata Consumer Products. He'll be soon joining. He's got stuck up in some technological issues, but he'll definitely be joining us. In the meantime, to ask I would like to ask some questions to. Uh, I believe Raj is already joining, so just give us a few seconds for Raj to come online. Hi, Raj.
Hi,
Good
hi.
afternoon to you.
Yeah, hi, Alvin. Good afternoon. Hi, everyone.
No problem, no problem. Thank you so much for joining. So, to all the viewers, let me introduce Mr. Raj Gilra. Like I said, he is VP Marketing Core Salt at Tata Consumer Products. So he is the business head for the core salt portfolio comprising of flagship product Tata Salt and four next gen salt brands, Immuno, Shuddh, Crystal and iShakti, working with cross-functional teams to grow the beloved Desh Ka Namak across the country. So Raj, welcome, and without wasting too much of time, let me pick your brains. So let me ask you the first question is how significant is the issue of counterfeit in Tata Salt products in the market?
Yeah, so see, I think when a brand starts selling, and when this becomes, to the stature, this is a problem that I presume all the core brands are facing, right? So in fact, many a times when we look at partnering with other bigger MNCs, this concern remains. I wouldn't say it is like uh, it is mammoth, but it is there, right? So it is there, and especially there in the markets which are very high equity for us, in terms of, and we keep doing, I think, consistent interventions to keep the issue in control. So, how significant? I mean, I think it is there that we keep our eyes open completely on that issue. Uh, and more so, I think it is there in the markets which do very which we are at very high share at. Yeah.
Okay. So that what has been the impact of counterfeiting on Tata Salt brand's reputation and consumer trust, and what have what are the measures that are being taken?
So, see, I think thankfully, first, when we look at Tata Salt as a franchise, last 40 years, the brand has stood very strong to its product quality. It's a vacuum evaporated salt, right? So it is very different from any solar salt which we sell or which the country sells. The trust which I think consumer have is very humbling overall on Tata Salt, and it's called Deshka Namak to that level, to that stature. What happens when somebody packs another salt into it? Obviously, it's a very different technology. So Tata Salt is made by vacuum evaporated technology. It happens inside a machine. It's a titanium chamber inside the salt is made. Unlike when we look at the solar salts which are done on the earth bed, right? So when you ate a counterfeit Tata Salt pack, you will feel the difference instantly, that the product is different. So for us, more than the size of the problem, it is that the consumer who's buying Tata Salt for the trust it has should not eat an inferior product. And hence for us it is critical that we maintain that trust that consumer has on eating it, because the saltiness is different, the cleanliness is different, purity is different, right? So you will the instantly, if you're a Tata Salt user, you use another salt, you will know that it is not, it is different today, right? So I think that's more critical, that our consumer don't get it. I think thankfully what happens is that when the consumer or our even retailer partners, when they get the salt, they very kindly also report back that there seems to be something not right. Would you want to look at it? Right. And see, typically the measures that we take on counterfeiting is in actually two parts, which is one, I think at the level of, and these are largely legal actions actually, right? So at a legal level, what we do is that we have a very stronger network of third party, partners who work in the market, look at similar packs, and they do issue, I think, whatever is a appropriate legal action to the people who are packing it, if it is an established vendor, right? So that happens. If it is not that, then we also take legal actions with the help of the court. So in the form of legal raids, etc. And I think when we look back into the trade, nobody wants somebody coming, a legal partner coming to their shop and asking them to appear in the court, etc., etc. So I think at that level we are also able to control, at least to some extent. When the issue goes up, we get complaints more often. I think we get a little more active, the action peaks, and then it comes under control. But as I've seen for many years, I think this issue exists, and we aim to control it with more legal actions on this. And we also, on one side, so one is the action part of it. Second part is actually education, which is what we also do at our retailer partners and at our team level, is how do they differentiate between the two products, right? There are very clear markers between, say, a Tata Salt, and if the Tata Salt is a counterfeit. So they're very clear markers. Consumers obviously doesn't know whether when she is taking the salt, she'll only know when she has used the packet. What we try doing is that we do this education within our team and our partners who sell, so that they don't land up onto a wrong product, without knowing it. Right. So I think two ways, if I could answer you Samuel, on this, which is one is action, one is education.
Okay. So, like you said, taking legal actions, but basically, what happens? How do you people even come to know that there are counterfeit products in the market, or maybe in some outlet, or whatever it is? Are there any kind of methods you people are using to detect?
See, like I said, when you see that and the product is so different, you get that complaint from the market. The rates gets disturbed when you look at in the market. What happens is suddenly you will see a rate drop in some places, right? You will see some of your retailers complaining. So two methods that typically we see it happens. One is that our distributor partners, our teams, they report because the you will see some sluggishness in terms of your sales. You will see some rate, going up and down here. So you will see that on one part. Second part, we also see consumers also in the same market, you will see one or two complaints on the product quality that, okay, something has happened on this. So I think it's a clearer indication when we look at that. Third, it also happens that we also have our agency partners active in the market who keep on doing like dipsticks in that. But the first two are more the pieces which give us an indication that I think in one market there is some issue which is exacerbated.
Okay. Cool. I suddenly have a question which has been addressed to you. Have you experienced any issues out of connived ground investigation partners fabricated false alarms just to get an assignment?
I couldn't get it completely. If you could repeat that.
Basically, have you had any kind of experience or any issues, where the ground investigation partner has created fabricated false alarms just to get your assignment of, checking the counterfeit?
Uh, and so, frankly, because I work with my legal teams and my teams, if they have, they could have had it. But in my experience, no. In my
Great.
experience, no. I mean, yeah, yeah. I think because most of the time, see, it's more a lead going from our side to them that there seems to be something. So, shall we act? Yeah.
So that, like you mentioned, educating the consumer, right? Now, what happens is, if you got evolved consumers, that's okay. They have a fair understanding. They may look at the pack here. There, I've seen many people. My wife does it. She'll check the, time, date of manufacture on different products and all that. How does the general consumer understand that this is a counterfeit product or not? Because the general populace, they just go into the store, they just purchase a pack. I understand you said education is important, but then how can we percolate it further?
See, to be very honest, it is difficult for a layman to really notice the difference unless you've tested the product. Right at a product level, you will feel it that you've been using Tata Salt forever, and hence it is different product. See, first, I think thankfully I mean the scale has never been to that extent that we went beyond really going to consumer education because the extent is really local in some markets, right? So first of all, I think we have been I think because of the consistent effort from our legal teams, our retailer partners, we have been able to trying to kind of control this similar. So we never move to that level that you have to mass educate consumers, right? Even if you do that, I think consumers will find it always difficult. So what we at least do is that we the education in our case is more to our team and our channel partners, retailers, and so on. Because see, ultimately it goes via them. And see, frankly, I mean, mostly people are good, right? So nobody would want to do sell that if they know it. So if they know it, they would defer, or they would not want to get into a practice. Typically, what happens is that even a retailer doesn't know that he's selling a wrong good, right? So if he is aware, he will any which ways push it back, because at least that much retailers know that why to get into like a problem when it's about a few rupees here and there. Nobody would want to get into an issue of trust. It also is a reputation risk for the retailer who's selling it, right? Because every retailer has a catchment of his customers, consumers who are there. So to us, I think just to pull back, the education we have had is more to our teams and partners, And thankfully, we not had to that extent that you have to get into a very consumer level education program. We still resort to creating more trust than distrust.
Okay.
Yeah.
One more question I want to ask you is from the brand's perspective. So you come from the brand side. What are the most significant challenges that any FMCG or nutraceutical brand face with regards to counterfeit products?
Mm, yeah. So, see, I think pulling back to my earlier reply, which is that personally, when I think of it, I think I don't want my consumer, when she is paying for Tata Salt, to have an inferior product, right? So it's more at a level of when we have stood strong on singularly the quality and the trust that people have invested on us. It is more that you don't want your consumers to taste a wrong product for what they have paid for. So I think that is the single large challenge. And also, I mean, at least in my limited experience, I've not seen the problem going down to zero, because in some or the other way it keeps coming in some or the other part of the country. So the at least what we try doing is that we control it to extent, right, so that it doesn't become large bigger in any part of our business. So it's more a control strategy, I think.
Okay.
However,
So
see, frankly, I mean, because what I'm seeing is also from a slight distance. Are the teams who are involved into it are, I think, thanks to the legal team who work on, or from our side, they do a lot of effort into this, right? So a lot also happens in the background, which I may also not be fully in picture of, because these, yeah. So, but yeah, I think a lot of efforts goes into it.
uh, combining two questions into one. Uh, so what are the common indicators for a consumer to understand that this is a counterfeit product as far as Tata Salt is concerned? And second thing is, if they come to know, uh, should they report to?
See, I think the first and foremost thing which is there on Tata Salt, and I'll not talk about only the counterfeit. Tata Salt, like I spoke, is technically a very different product. While hardly people see, a salt is not a very high involvement category for a consumer, but the reason for 40 years this has been a Desh Ka Namak is because the product is at a fundamental very different. Right? If I'll take a glass of water, and if I'll take the glass full of water, I'll take 2 spoons of Tata Salt into it and dissolve it. 3 4 minutes later, it will become absolute clear water. You won't even feel that there was 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons of salt into it. So Tata salt, by the nature of being vacuum evaporated salt, will become extremely clear once you have dissolved it in a glass of water and you kind of test it. If, I mean, in fact, when it comes to us looking at it, if it is not getting clear, it is not Tata salt, right? So that's, I think, that we feel. And it's very simple, right? In a kitchen, you can take a glass of water, dissolve salt, you can see if it is dissolving. If it is fully dissolved, it is Tata salt. If it leaves anything which is something which is there in the water, some bit of haziness, some bit of that, these are, then it won't certainly be Tata salt, right? So I think it can't get simpler than this. So it's I think one single this thing. And we also take a lot of pride in the purity that the brand has been able to deliver in its product. And this, the reason of, like, we also, in our recent commercial, we talk about a very scientific claim that Tata salt is purer than 100 salts in the country. Right, so we tested, in fact, 100 different salts in different parts of the country, and Tata salt is purer than 100 salts in the country. Right, if there have been more numbers, you take 150, probably the number stands true. But I think that is the simple thing. When you resort to it, do nothing, just report it back to the consumer helpline, which is there on the back of the pack. So when you have a pack which is there, you will see a consumer helpline, and you report it back to us. I think what we certainly want from our consumer, it's in the back of the pack, you will see the it's written. First of all, I think to the larger consumers, we be aware of this issue any which way. So first of all, there is no need to worry. overall at a mass level, that what you are eating is very likely the right salt, right Tata salt. Just in case you have a doubt, maybe you can simply dissolve it and check it. If there is something, you report it back to us, you will see the action done. Right. And for you as a consumer, if you see that you, for any reason, you're not been able to get to a right salt, without a question asked, I think once you report it back, we will try to replace it to you by a right Tata salt, just in case you landed upon one. Right, because you paid trust into us with the 28 rupees that you paid to us. I think you deserve to get a right Tata salt. Right, whatever happens in the background is our problem.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for answering those questions. Now, I would like to introduce the last panelist, Mr. Manoj Kocher. Uh, he is also current IHMA board member. He is the president of ASPA and also serving on the governing body of Indian Institute of Packaging. Uh, he is also the director and co-founder of Kolkata-based company Holoflex Limited. Holoflex is a leading provider of authentication solutions in India and the wider international market, developing and deploying customized anti-counterfeiting and brand protection solutions for more than 30 years. Thank you so much, Mr. Manoj, for joining.
Thank
And
you.
let me pick your brains. So, can you elaborate on the magnitude of risk associated with contamination in counterfeit FMCG products, mainly focusing on the health implications?
Okay. First of all, a big thank you, Alvin, for having me on the show and having agreed to collaborate with ASPA on this particular webinar. So we're absolutely delighted to be partnering you and obviously talking about what we love the most, which is fighting fakes and counterfeits and promoting solutions thereof. So on the magnitude of risks, you said, now see. I'm going to borrow a bit from the previous speakers also who've spoken a lot on the same or in the similar vein as I'm going to do. So I think it's not always the counterfeiting that's the problem. It's also product tampering that is pretty often the case. I mean, you of course do have an out and out counterfeit duplicate, which the fraudsters try and do. But then at times they also somehow find ways to tamper with the original packaging and remove some of the original stuff and pass in some of their own stuff and things like that. So that's like product tampering. But whichever way we look at it, when we as authentication solution providers or as ASPA, when we talk about counterfeiting, we tend to include both such instances. Having said that, the solution, of course, may differ, but that's a different discussion altogether. What we have seen is the fake FMCG market is growing faster than the overall FMCG market, which is quite disturbing because obviously it suggests that the fake or the tampered products are really taking over, but not taking over, but then increasing their share in the overall genuine market. ASPA did a study with Crystal, which is a name we are all well aware of, and we found that at least that study found that 42%, a staggering 42% of the consumers willingly purchase counterfeit FMCG products, which is just quite a high number, very, very high number. But then that's what the report showed us. At least our sample survey said that. And but otherwise, if we take the perception of the industry at large, which is the trade and the industry of the FMCG and the nutraceutical market, we are about 25 to 30%, and that much of counterfeiting is definitely going on. And various other surveys, conducted by, let's say, FICCI is one name that I can immediately cite here. They're all pointing to numbers which are pretty much the same. So I think the extent of the problem is more or less, in that ballpark. And what are the harm that this is doing, right, to consumer health? So counterfeiters often use hazardous ingredients. They use ingredients that are cheap, the lookalikes. And we've all heard of several instances where for milk they just add some any white liquid and remove it, and there are hundreds of such cases, and which are not going into details thereof. But then Hazardous ingredients cause neurological disorders. They could lead to other health problems such as reproductive problems, could have increased cancer risks, stuff like that. They could be heavy metal at times in the ingredients, organ damage. So I mean, serious chronic health issues. So I think that hazardous ingredients cause a lot of problems. And then you also have unsanitary production environment. So there's no quality control measures in a counterfeiter's factory. Obviously, what else would you expect? So that also leads to food poisoning. There are allergic reactions, gastrointestinal disorders. Uh, so n number of health associated risks there, and I think this is why everybody needs to be very, very careful about the product that one is buying that is indeed genuine, and because their health is being directly affected by it. So imagine you're buying a medicine or a nutraceutical which you're hoping or expecting will cure you of your problems, it should make you healthier, but on the contrary it's actually working against that very premise. It's actually diminishing your health, in I mean affecting your health in a very negative way, so to say. So I think that's a big problem.
Okay. So we've been listening to the fact that you know consumers require to be educated, the awareness has to increase. So what steps is ASPA taking to educate brands and consumers about the importance of product authenticity?
Okay. So ASPA engages with industry brands, obviously, by participating at industry events. We often have a booth wherever we can get it, at most of the industry trade shows, and we try and create an awareness of what the counterfeiting the problem is, what the solutions are, and we also try and get into brand specific or industry specific events. So, for instance, there was a chemical show, for instance, right? A chemical industry show. So we try and go there. We try and talk to the organizers, see can you get a slot, can you get a presentation, can you get a booth? Because ours is a not-for-profit organization. We are not there to make money for the association. We are there to create the awareness, to talk to people about the extent of the problems and the solutions thereof. So we do a lot of brand engagement in that way. We have a flagship event which Puneet also spoke about, which is the Traceability and Authentication Forum, where we have a lot of brands come and talk about their problems. We have a lot of solution providers who are there on that platform. So we're promoting that engagement, that collaboration. And just to come back slightly on ASPA, you see, ASPA is an association of authentication solution providers where we have technologies of all kinds which can help in the authentication, whether it's a physical technology like a hologram or security prints or security ink, security material, whether it is digital codes, non-clonable QR codes, QR codes, then you have RFID, so smart cards. So all the technologies are there on board. And so when ASPA goes out and engages with an industry, it really is carrying all that expertise in a single basket and sharing what can be done to fight counterfeit. So that's what we do on the industry front. And on the, I'm not talking about the various publications that Puneet has already covered. We have a whole lot of publications that we do regularly. We have the Counterfeit News Repository, which he mentioned, which is searchable content of all the counterfeiting incidents that have been reported. That is also there as a service that we provide. And to the consumer, we always ask the consumer to be careful before they pick up a package. Of course, if you're picking up somebody from a well-known retailer, that retailer that you know and you trust, maybe you can, of course, be a little less careful, so to say. But we would always encourage that you look for the pack, you look for the are there any tampering signs in the package? Are there any obvious spelling errors? Is there a color mismatch? Any missing information? And if at all the brand has some authentication feature, whether physical or a QR code, please do look out for that. I mean, unfortunately, the the rate on QR code scans is not great at the consumer level, and we all know that's less than 1%, which is disheartening. But I'm sure the trend will go up going forward, and we'll have probably more verifications taking place, which will help the consumers a hell of a lot. I
Mr.
can't
Alvin,
hear
I
you.
think,
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute.
Yeah. Oh,
So
okay.
I was just telling that, like you mentioned, even when I go to purchase something, it never crosses my mind to check a QR code or something like that to check the authenticity of a product. Now, that's something which is scary because from what I've been listening and hearing is I may not even know, I may pick up a product, I may not realize that it's not a genuine product. So that's one aspect is I understand awareness has to be there, but can you think of something else? Because we talk, this webinar is also to create awareness. What other measures can be taken if an educated person like me, uh, it does not cross my mind. I get scared of the general populace which is there, uh, where spread over not only urban but a huge rural population. So,
Yes, absolutely.
anything that can be done on that front?
See, I think it's all about creating awareness, Alvin. Because what happens is the more aware the consumer is, the greater are the chances that he's going to be careful. You see, I'll cite my favorite example here. Some years ago, we had this massive campaign to create consumer awareness about their rights called Jago Grahak Jago. I think that's something we've all seen and noticed at some point in our lives, in our in maybe about 3, 4, 5 years ago, whenever it was launched. So that was a hugely successful campaign that the government of India launched, and it really did make consumers aware of their rights. Okay, but then it can be done at a government of India level. I mean, I don't see how the solution providers industry can engage at such a wide scale. But if the government of India does take up this initiative to educate the brands and the people about the perils of counterfeiting, and indeed the technology is available, each one is free to choose their own technology. No one will, neither ASPA nor any other agency that decides to do this campaign will push for a particular company or a technology. It's to each his own. But I think that awareness creation is very, very important, and the industry leaders also need to talk about it. Another example I'd like to give you, Alvin, here is some days ago we had this call with this huge brand, Mankind Pharma. Okay, the CEO got on the call with TASPA, and he asked us, he wanted to understand the entire ecosystem of counterfeiting, what's happening, what's the technology available, how can it be kind of dealt with. So during the conversation, again, we made a strong pitch for creating the awareness. And ever since Mr. Arora, the CEO who was with us on the call, he's been making a lot of social media posts about counterfeiting and the need to arrest the problem, about the need for the brands to ensure that the medicines are genuine across the entire chain, and how the consumer needs to be careful also. So I think that creating awareness one way or the other, each one of us can contribute in our own little way, as far as doing what it can in our own small little way. A brand like Mankind probably can take it to the next level, and an industry association probably a level higher, and the government of India probably the highest level. I think awareness creation is the single most important point in my view to fight this menace.
Okay. So, Manoj, what is basically ASPA's strategic roadmap for the next 5 years in this fight against counterfeiting?
Okay, so ASPA has been around for 25 years now. So this was our 25th year. ASPA has remained relevant because we've kept reinventing ourselves. Okay, when we started out as a hologram manufacturers association, way back in those days, we were only doing hologram. Only the hologram manufacturers were ASPA members. But then the few of us hologram manufacturers, we all realized that look, we are not in the business of making holograms. We are in the business of providing an authentication solution, to fight the counterfeit and help consumers identify. So we changed our vision and we made that Authentication Solution Providers Association. And we invited all technologies that could possibly contribute to this cause. Okay, because our cause is to spread awareness, like I've been mentioning, and making sure that all the various stakeholders come on the same platform work together, collaborate together, and enhance their skills so as to fight the competition, so as to fight the counterfeit more effectively. So, with that in mind, as per the undertaken, a kind of a vision document has been prepared, where we are talking about engaging with the government. We are talking about engaging with, of course, the industry. We want to engage with professional associations such as Indian Institute of Packaging. We're already working in that connect. We want to enhance the skills of the people on the authentication solutions. We are interacting with brands, government, academia, international association like IHMA. Mikal's here from IHMA, and yes, we have a very close working relationship with IHMA. There's another association called ITSA, which is International Tax Stamp Association. We are also talking to them. So our focus in the next 5 years will certainly remain to bring all these resources together, to create an awareness, to develop skills at a personal level, which can really help in finding counterfeit. And generally, I think that is the focus that ASPA has over the next 5 years.
So, in your experience, what is your opinion? What can be a good overall strategy to fight counterfeiting?
See, any strategy has to be uh, multi-pronged, at least to fight counterfeit. So typically, once the counterfeit problem is identified, and we have such a huge brand like Tata on this panel, so I'm sure they can also probably add so much more to this because they already know a lot about it. Uh, they've been affected by this problem for the longest period of time now. But yes, but the way we understand it, once the problem area is identified, you need to develop a solution. You need to see how you can create the awareness. I'm sorry I keep talking about it, but then that's a very, very critical component in the entire fight against counterfeit awareness. So enhance the awareness, identify the problem area, and once the problem has been identified, you need to deploy an authentication solution, whether it's going to be purely digital, whether it's going to be phygital, which is a physical security feature, together with a digital QR code scan, for instance. That's called a phygital. Whether you want to deploy that. Uh, if there are any geographical areas you want to lay particular focus on that, to identify who the culprits are, maybe use the legality framework, the legal framework, and the other agencies who can help you nab the counterfeiters there. Uh, Once the solution has been deployed, uh, but before that, I would have another suggestion that, choose your solution provider carefully. It'll always help if he is an ASPA member because that establishes a lot of credentials and his ability to collaborate with different technologies and follow certain code of conduct. And once the solution has been deployed, then you got to have a regular mechanism of checking just how well it is done. Is the solution even meeting the requirements? And so I think that's very important. There's a single document, an ISO standard called ISO, which is titled, I think, uh, Guidelines for Selection and Performance Evaluation for Authentication of Material Goods, right? It's ISO 22383. Uh, so this is a fabulous document. Brands don't need to get certified under this document. What they need to do is this is a guideline, so brands can follow the guidelines and the systems and the processes that are suggested there and follow it. So I think that could be a great strategy to fight counterfeit.
Okay. Uh, Thank you so much for answering all the questions. Just I, since we are short of time, I'll just ask two, three very quick questions from whatever I gathered. The question being asked. One is, can security features be cloned? My question will be to both you and Mikhail.
Okay. Mikal, would you like to go first, or would you want me to get address this first?
I'm going to be very quick. All I'll say is you can replicate any feature close enough to be able to pass. And again, we come back to education. Yeah, can you create a feature that is close enough to fool the consumer? Yes. Can you replicate or copy a feature exactly? Now that's a different question. Again, we come back to education.
Okay.
Okay, if I can just add further to that, I mean, from my point of view, given the right level of resources and incentive, anything can be duplicated or counterfeited. I mean, that there can be no dispute on that, right? We see efforts at passports, visas, banknotes, duplicating them all the time. So we, ASPA or any of its members, will never make the claim that this cannot be copied. Anything can be copied, like I said, given the right incentive and resources. But like Mikhail said, yes, it can be enough to fool a consumer. But can something be replicated at a micro level, nano level, a holography technology? That will be very, very, very difficult, because there are always some micro and nano elements which can always be distinguished easily. So at the consumer level, yes, there may be something, but at a forensic level, you can almost always establish conclusively that this is the real, authentic, original feature, and this isn't. You can always do that. So how do the brands then tackle this? What should be their approach? In my view, brands need to adopt a holographic technology, if that is what they were going in for, of a certain level and quality which makes it beyond the reach of a normal, let's say, level of technology. So going for a level higher, make the job of the counterfeiter more difficult. That, I think, will always prove to be successful in the long run. So yeah, it can be counterfeited, but then, or can be made to look like your original feature. But then there is always enough skin in the game to still take it beyond the reach of the counterfeiter.
Again, both of you have been moving around in different international circles also. Just wanted to understand, do different countries have different kind of government policies as far as counterfeiting is concerned?
I'm not aware of any legislations which relate to counterfeiting per se. Of course, it's an illegal activity, and all the penal codes the world over will have some sections that kind of uh, prohibit people from doing that, and they could be punished if found guilty. But any legal acts or provisions which talk only about counterfeiting, I'm not aware of. If Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Mikhail wants to add something to it.
No, you're quite right, Manush. In a nutshell, counterfeiting is a crime wherever you are. But like you just said, I don't think there's a specific region-based or country-based legislation for counterfeiting. Yeah, yeah. If you counterfeit a document or a product, say in one country, the law will be different to another country. But at the end of the day, it's crime wherever you are.
Okay. One quick last question. Let's say a consumer like mine, I go to a store, I find a counterfeit product. What should I do? Whom should I tell the storekeeper? Should I tell the brand? Should I tell ASPA? Whom should I reach out?
You can always tell the storekeeper. Chances are he'll not do anything because he's selling it in the first place, and he is aware that what he's selling is not right. But as Jen from Tata Salt said, you bring it to our notice, give it, send me the sample or give me the sample. I'll make sure that you get an original Tata Salt again. And what happens after that, he said, is our problem, right? I think that kind of sums it up pretty well. ASPA, of course, is always happy if anything is reported to us in terms of a confidence, and we are more than happy to take it up to the brand and tell them that this is what has been reported, and perhaps you might want to look deeper into this. So that's the role that ASPA will always play. but I suspect all the packages these days have a helpline number of the brand. Okay, and chances are that even the fake will have that, because it's another giveaway that this is not real, this is a fake. So you can use that number if you can get the real one, and if not on the package, then I'm sure you can get it on the net, and then reach out to the brand, and I'm sure the brand will be more than happy to look at that.
Cool. So thank you so much. It was wonderful talking to you people, and I'm sure the viewers must have had a lot of feedback and a lot of insights into what is happening and what should be done and how to create awareness. So thank you everybody. It was pleasure talking to all of you, and to the viewers, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. Thank you very much. Pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you.